Hey, remember that resume that we created a few lessons ago? Well, let's get back to it, and we're going to update it with our new skills and the new HTML that we've been working on in the previous lessons, and then we're going to construct it offline and then bring it online into the GitHub pages where we were just looking at last. So we do have a heading, which is our name, the title, which is our name. And if you haven't constructed one of these, get to it. You can pause the video here and create your own resume type format. You know how to bring in images. You know how to bring in hyperlinks. You also know how to structure lists as well as tables. So you can do all of that with just plain HTML. And you can even add in a little bit of styling to make it more interesting, your content. So now going into the HTML editor, we want to update it, and we want to update it offline so that when we do bring it online, then all of the code is already constructed. And that's the way typically web developers will work, is they'll bring the project and just have it locally on their machine. They'll view it in the browser as they're editing and updating the code. And once they've got a finished product, then they're going to take the code and they're going to update and load that file onto the website, onto the live server to share with the world. So now going into here, we're going to keep the image. And you can also create a little bit of structure from the tables that we learned, where we've got table. And I hate to say this, but sometimes the tables can come in useful, especially when you're learning web development. This type of table structure can be of some help as you're developing your websites. So if you want to link out to a social profile and then have a little bit more content, I'm just going to add all of this stuff here at the top. So it's all in line within that same line. And then next, let's create a horizontal rule. And we're going to create a list of experience. And this should have a heading tag. So set it up as an H2. And then below that, this will be an unordered list. And then each one of the list items can include the various experience that we do have. And then you can use the styling that we do have for the fonts to set up the various fonts and save. So presenting it in a list type format. And then also providing additional information, as we saw with the lists, where we've got a list item, and then we can create another unordered list in there. So this can maybe be even an ordered list where you have your top skills, and these are list items. So the various skills that I used for the job. And I'll start these on a new line so it's easier to read. So this is a nested list, and listing out all of my top skills that I used for the job. And I'll do the same for this one. So it's very similar. So did use the same skills, experience. And then also we might want to list out our skills. And then from what we learned with styling, we can also apply styling. So let's add for the H2s. And we'll do the border styling. So again, providing a little bit more structure to the content that we're building. And then maybe the skills are just all an unordered list with a bunch of list items. And we'll have the same list items to save some time. And let's also have a footer area where we can have the contact information. And we'll provide some more semantic structure for the page. So this can be header section. And we're not going to have any navigation, but just to have a separation of the content. And then this is just a main section area. So wrap all of this within a section before we close it off. And then between the sections. And also maybe we'll want to apply some styling to the section. So I know we didn't discuss styling yet in a lot of detail. So I'm just keeping it very simple to what we have gone over. So all of the sections are going to get styling being applied to them. And also comma separated out to apply the same styling to the other elements. And let's go down to the footer. And this is where we can add in the contact information. So we can have a hyperlink to our social media links as well. And we can also include a way to contact our address. So with our email, so adding in the address tag, and then within the address tag at, and then this was a hyperlink using the mail to option, and then my email address that I want to mail to. And we'll just keep it at that. We'll have the email address. And I also have a phone number. So we did have a way to, on mobile devices, if they're coming in on the website, that they can simply click the link, and this will open up the phone number within the mobile device. And so I think we're ready. We can save it. And you can also add in additional information as needed. And so once you are satisfied with your code, I'm just going to quickly do a quick beautify to clean it up. So the beautify is the option within brackets. And this is provided by an extension. So under extension manager, the beautify. So it helps me keep the code clean and more readable. So that's that extension that I'm using. So once you've set up your HTML and you're happy with it, you can copy it, go over to GitHub pages. It will go over to GitHub, and where your code is located, select the index file and click the edit and just overwrite that existing code, new content, commit the changes. So whenever you make any changes, you do have to commit changes, because the whole idea with GitHub is tracking and version tracking. So when you do have changes, you can always revert back. You can do a comparison. You can see what changes were done, when the last commits, who did the commits, and so on. So now going into settings, and this usually does take a few minutes to update, so it doesn't update instantly. But if you go to your GitHub pages, you're going to see the new version of your code online. And this is live to this URL. And if you do make any additional edits, you can still have the same URL. So this can be an ongoing resume that you can constantly add to, make it look nicer as you progress through the lessons, add more styling, and then lastly, when we get into the JavaScript, add some more advanced functions. So you can have all of this online with GitHub pages and share your work to the world.